Blog Talk Radio.
Shalom, Lekulam. Peace to everyone. Welcome to the Reset Button Season 3. This season, we welcome the listener to join us while we journey through Isaiah, one of the most controversial books in the Word. We would like to accomplish understanding of the salvation of Israel mentioned. Is it one spoken of in the New Testament? Is it someone we're waiting on? Or is it in the past? Walk through this with us as we attempt to uncover this mystery. The call-in number is 516-595-8238. And press 1 at any time that you have questions or that you would like to leave a comment. Our collective email is histaught1talkradio@gmail.com. Our Facebook page is His Taught Ones and His Taught Ones Talk Radio. We also have the YouTube page at His Taught Ones Talk Radio. Subscribe and we'll be posting our episodes every week. Shalom and have a good show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another season of His Taught Ones. Talmidim, yo, here we go, back at it again. You did, yeah, yourself, Shema and some friends. We learned hard through better sheets. The Melechim now, fresh start to what is hot. I never yin, yeah, here come the prophets. They're dropping some knowledge, abolishing doctrines, apology nonsense. They bring the word, you can call them the pinpoint. Given by the hand of the head, he is the pinpoint. Yeah, or could it be it's another? So many distances from the children, it's a misnomer. Honestly, the aroma is hideously unbearable. There is no one accord. How dare we say that we're hearing you?
Shil Yisrael, Holy One of Israel. Anachnu modim lecha al yom nosaf we al milah. We thank you for another day and for your word. Barech bivakasha et ha-mifkash hazeh. Please bless this gathering. Bo'u nishmiah. Let us say Amen. Amen.
Shalom, shalom. This is Joseph. Hold on one second. Let me open it. And they should be my other two counterparts, am I right?
Okay.
All right.
Shalom.
Okay, hold on one second. Yeah. So, we're here another week. This is a big week for us because this is Isaiah 51 through 53. 53 is a very much talked about scripture. I would probably argue that it's one of the most talked about scriptures according to salvation and something as far as I would say messianic prophecy, salvation and from a person, servant. It's always, that's what it is, you know. So I don't want to take too much time on my intro. I'm just excited to see what these brothers got. I know it was very difficult, but I'm pretty sure they managed. But without further ado, I'm going to open up the floor to them. I'm going to start out with Shema and then end off with Yediyah, if that's fine with you guys. So, Shema, you have the floor.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. just want to thank all of you that are either online right now or listening back. I believe it's going to be a good show. I have a few things to bring out. And I'm just looking forward to hear, like he said, what the rest of the brothers has to say, and if there's any callers that are present or will come in later, I would love to hear what they have to say as well. So that's about it.
All right, shalom, shalom. This is Brother Yedid Yah. Blessed to be here for another Shabbat, and this is definitely one of the highly anticipated shows. I know at least for the panel, so I am interested in what these brothers are going to bring to the table today, and it was very difficult. I'm going to just say that from the start. Very difficult material to handle. I had a little bit of trouble in figuring out which version I wanted to use while going through these, but I figured it out thanks to the Most High. You know, I just sat and I kind of went through a number of them, and I bounced back and forth, and it finally was brought to me which one would be the one I would use for today. So without further ado, I will close my statements, pass it back over to the host.
All right, this is how we're going to do this, like we normally do it. Well, how we've been kind of doing it lately. So the order for today will be, I guess we could do the same order. I'll go last as far as that, but I'll go Shema. We'll go Shema, and then Yediyah starting out. We'll do it like that, and then I'll go last on this first one, and then we could do it that way. And then, Yediyah and myself, and then Shema. Then myself, Shema, and Yediyah, like that. So Shema, you got the floor. Opening up with 51, if you don't mind.
All right, well, going back, we are in, we're at 50 right now. No, 51 right now. So at 50, last week we were discussing where it was being encouraged for Israel to repent. And we had a discussion about the bill of divorce. There was some interesting takes on this. So I would say if you haven't listened, go listen back to go check it out. But going into this chapter, I really don't have a lot in this chapter, to be honest with you. But going into this chapter, we see that he's bringing out, he's telling Israel, Zion, to, or basically trying to comfort them, in a sense. So my version says, listen to me, O pursuers of righteousness, O seeker of Yah, look to the rock from which you were hewn, and at the hollow of the pit from which you were dug. Look to Abraham, your forefather, and to Sarah, who bore you, for when he was yet one alone, did I summon him and bless him and make him many. So sometimes, that's what we ought to do. We ought to look at the examples of our forefathers, look at kind of what they went through and how they made it through. So I see in the beginning here that is some comforting being put in place, telling them to look at what he did to them and know that this can be the same to you. It goes on to say in verse 3, for Yah will comfort Zion. He will comfort all her ruins. He will make her wilderness like Eden and her wasteland like a garden of Yah. Joy and gladness will be found there. Thanksgiving and the sound of music. So I just want to point out, and then I'm going to, digress if anybody has anything to say for the beginning point. I want us to pay attention. Like, we've been bringing this out, but we haven't said this lately, I don't believe, but we have to pay attention to the personification that goes on. Yada brought out how when the land is spoke on, it's in the feminine aspect, if I'm not mistaken, is what he said. And I have pointed out before how, I forgot what chapter, I should have did a little research on that. I didn't have too much time on that. But if you do recall, those that's listening, and if you are new listening, in the past, within Isaiah, we saw Israel being referred to as he, even as, if I'm not mistaken, her. So it's a lot of personification going on, and we can't leave that out. And we saw that Israel, like Yosef brought out as well, and I'm still trying to stay in context with what I'm bringing out now. We saw that even in the mass people, as a people, they were referred to as one. So we can't negate that as well. So I just wanted to point that out for now. Did anyone have anything? I haven't even really brought my point out, but, I was just going down, giving a little context of the actual chapter.
No, you good. That's perfect, given the context of the chapter. And I don't have anything, but I'm saying you can still bring your point, So don't fret. That's basically what I'm saying.
Okay. Well, the only point I really have, and I've been consistently bringing this out. Well, you know what? I'll start off by saying this. I won't bring this point I was going to bring out yet. I want to go back up to verse. I want to go to verse 7. And in verse 7, on my version, it says, listen to me, you who know righteousness, the nation with my Torah in its heart. Do not fear from the disparagement of man, and do not be broken by their insults. I want to stop there because it's a lot of things being taught today, but yet you read something like this, and it points out to me. It points out he's telling them, listen to me, you who know righteousness. We must understand that it's people within this time that did actually know it, that performed it, and we've been bringing this out, that walked in it, because to know is to do. If you don't know, then you're not going to do, even if you feel you know. So that's just my thoughts. This is my take, so that's not scripture. That's just me when I say that. But listen to me, you who know righteousness, the nation with my Torah in its heart. So that's not a new saying. That the whole law in your heart stuff that's being taught today, or acting like it was new or something like that's not being. That's not something new. This is present tense right here. This is he's speaking to them, letting them know those that have my Torah in his heart. The nation that has it in his heart, the people that have it in his heart. So I just want to point that out, and I'm going to digress for now.
All right, ready, guy? You have the floor.
Okay. Just to caveat before I get into my point, because he hit on something that I saw as well. In 51, and he read 7. So it said, I'm reading from the the ERV today. It says, some of you people try hard to live good lives. You go to the Lord for help. Listen to me. You should look at Abraham, your father. He is the rock you were cut from. So that's verse 1. He read verse 7 in his version. But I'm going to read it in my version just so y'all can hear the way it reads on this side. You people who understand goodness should listen to me. You people who follow my teachings should hear the things I say. Don't be afraid of evil people. Don't let their insults upset you. So, as we see, as the brother brought out as well, one, to add to what he was saying, listen, pay attention to who he's talking to. He's saying, you people who understand goodness. He's not talking to the people that don't. So, like, when he sent a message out, it's like, okay, you people that understand, the people that know what's going on, that know, even in the midst of you going through this stuff, you still understand my righteousness. You still he said, people try hard to live good lives. They trying to live good lives, but they in the midst of these other people, and they suffering amongst the people that are not trying to live good lives. So I think that's very important, what he brought out, and I just wanted to add it to it before I moved into my first point. So my first point is really dealing with what I think we all are trying to figure out when we looking at Isaiah, which is the key thing of Isaiah, I believe, and I could be wrong, but from my perception, I believe the biggest thing from Isaiah that everybody look at is salvation. So we've been talking about this a lot. So from what I read, and I'm going to go through some of the verses, but from what I read in this chapter, it seems that salvation is described as something that takes place throughout generations, and it's not like just a special event or a special salvation that Isaiah is talking about. But in context, it pinpoints a salvation during a time. So, and then the concept is that it's an everlasting thing. So it's just as his word is. Like, his word is everlasting. His word is a word that he has spoken, that he is speaking in the midst of your situation, and then it's a word that endures forever. It's a word that you could go back and read, and it could relate to your situation right now, and it could relate to something that's in the future that it may seemingly read as if it's talking about something in the future, but it's really not. It's talking about what was going on at the time of the narration. And then, but the word is so relatable that it could relate to past, present, and future. So let's look at a few of these things. 5 and 6. I will soon save you. So soon save you. That it means it's about to happen soon. Okay, it hasn't happened, but he's speaking of I'm about to soon save you, and show that I am fair. I will use my power and judge all nations. All the faraway places are waiting for me. They wait for my power to help them. So basically, this salvation that he's speaking of, that Isaiah is speaking of from the Most High, is something that was soon to happen. So he was speaking it, and he's saying the people are waiting for this salvation. And I'm pretty sure it's talking about people that was taken captive and that was scattered during this time. All right. 6. Look up to the heavens. Look around you at the earth below. The skies will disappear like clouds of smoke. the earth will become like worthless old clothes. The people on the earth will die, but my salvation will continue forever. My goodness will never end. So that's that piece where I was saying is the concept is everlasting. It's like, anytime you're in trouble, the Most High salvation is available. Things are going to pass away. Things are going to happen. The earth will, there are some places that will become desolate. Clouds, they disappear. You can look up in the sky, you can see some clouds, and then you can go back out, like go in the house, go back out an hour later, and them same clouds won't be there. You know what I'm saying? So, but he's saying his salvation will continue forever. So whenever you're in need of his salvation, it's available. It's never a time where you can't find his salvation. All right? All right, let's go to 51 and 8, and then I end my point there. Let me see. Is that where I wanted to go? Oh, let me 6. I did 5, 6. Did 7, 8. They will be like old clothes eaten by moths. They will be like wool eaten by worms, but my goodness will last forever. So that's just another reference of him saying that. And then the last part of the verse, my salvation will continue forever and ever. So from what I'm looking at, the concept is that his salvation is always available. And it's not really like the salvation that Isaiah is speaking of here in this context is a particular one because they're going through something right now. As we'll see as we continue to read this, I'm going to bring it out. But they're going through some things right now, and they in need, like he said, they waiting for me. People are waiting for his power. So they are in need of him right now, right at that moment. They are in need of him. And he's saying, my salvation is available. So I end with that, and I give it up. And we got Brother Mercy in the queue just to let y'all know.
Okay, I'm a caveat, and I'm just gonna bring it was a verse that I had highlighted. It was above the verse that you started. I was gonna just say something about that, and then I'll bring Brother Mercy in, and then we'll proceed like that. So, okay, I had 4, 5, and 6 highlighted. So I'm going to go to 4. Listen to me, O people, and give ear to me, O nation, for the law shall proceed from me, and I will make my judgment to rest for a light of the people. Okay, I just want to make it clear that the Most High is saying the law shall proceed from him, all right? And he'll make his judgment to rest for a light. Right now, if we want to correlate, and go back a little bit, he said that he was talking about a light to the people, okay, previously. I believe it's the same chapter. He's talking about the prisoners and stuff like that. And I was saying that this light had to do with the Most High, and it's going to come out later. So I believe that correlates with that previous scripture. And I also wanted to say and agree with Yediyah. It says my righteousness is near. A little history, going back, we should be in Babylonian captivity. Well, that's what it would seem like. Well, I was talking about last time, because when Isaiah is speaking, I don't even know if Babylonian captivity had happened yet. If you want to say that he, it's been a lifetime of Isaiah. And we would have to do some real good history type of deals, I don't mind on another time trying to do that, but that's an extensive study, and I brought it out last week. You got 200 years between like the salvation of Cyrus coming in and Cyrus, what I think it was, came in and took over, and then he died. Darius comes in. I'm giving history. I'm trying not to get out of context, but he died. Darius comes in, and they allowed them to go. You know what I'm saying? Go back and stuff like that, and do their customs.
He was mentioned by name, by the way. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, well, Cyrus was mentioned by name in previous chapters also.
200 years previous.
I'm just saying, like it's been a couple. It was a little while. So when Isaiah first spoke to Ahaz, and he was telling him about that, the situation they had when it was the other kingdoms, and oh my goodness, I was about to say it's not Assyria though. It was the head of Damascus. Okay, yeah. The head of Damascus is Redson. And, remember that whole thing in Isaiah 7. The head of Damascus is Redson, and he's talking about it was going to, don't worry. And everybody that, know the story, know exactly what I'm talking about. So, from that time, you got some years that passed, for real. Okay? So, I mean, you have to make your own personal decisions on that as far as what you think. But what I'm getting at is it's talking about the Babylonian captivity. And them people in the Babylonian captivity treated them bad. Okay? Like real bad. You know what I'm saying? And this is what he's talking about. Yeah, it's bad. Don't trip. Your salvation is coming. All right? If you look at 7, it says, "Hearken unto me that you know righteous is the people whose heart is my law. Fear not the reproach of men, neither be afraid of their reverence." And then he goes into what he says, "So the moth shall eat them up like a garment." You know what I'm saying? Like don't trip on what they're doing. It's gonna be over with. Now it's not too far bad to say that said that Isaiah, he's a prophet. You know what I mean? So he's speaking future tense and he's speaking as if, I mean, you could say that. So, because he's a prophet. And so it's not that he's seeing this, even though writing as if he's seeing it. I'm sorry, I got so much information in my head on this type of accounts. I'm trying to keep that as brief as possible. Because there's so much that ties into it. From my studies at Yale, I'm going to yield the floor because he did a great job. They did a great job. They kind of, point to, I was going to, wanted to bring out, but they just brought out a different way, so that's great. Brother Mercy, I'm going to let you in. And remember, we're trying to, cut the comments down so we can get these rebuttals and move on. We got a lot of material to cover. So 2 minutes, Brother Mercy. We're going to give you 2 minutes. All right. I don't have a stopwatch ready. If one of you brothers have a stopwatch, I can get it ready. It's just that I'm gonna have a couple seconds probably delay. I ain't heard no answer from y'all.
So you gotta give us time to come off mute. You know what I'm saying? But I can set mine up for you.
Appreciate it. That's what I ain't got to do all the extra. Tell me when you're ready.
I mean, you could let him in. You can give him the time. I mean, he might not even take that long.
Brother Mercy, you live.
Hey, happy Sabbath, brothers. I just wanted to say, I didn't know I was long-winded, but that's okay. Let's look at verse 2 real quick. I like Genesis. Isaiah points us back to Genesis, Abraham and Sarah. So he says, look to Abraham, your father. So he tells us where to find salvation and righteousness. So we looked at Abraham and Sarah, and then he started with Abraham when he was just one. Before he was but one, when I called him that I might bless him and multiply him. And he multiplied Abraham just with Abraham. So y'all got 3 on the panel. Y'all got more than what Abraham had, and he turned the nation out of it. So I just wanted to say that. That's it.
Good job. I like this. Let me go into I'll let you out the queue. And what do you brothers or anybody else have to say about his comment and rebuttals or such?
Nah, I ain't got nothing to rebuttal or anything like that.
Yeah, neither do I.
All right. I like this comment. That's what I say. And we can proceed. Shema, if you have something, let me see, you have something that you wanted to talk about that was talked about between me and Yah, or you had something new you wanted to say, you have the floor.
All right. I just wanted to, I'm not sure what it renders in any of you all's versions, but for verse 12, it says, I, only I, am he who comforts you. Who are you that you should be afraid of mortal humans and of men who will be made as grass? You have forgotten Yah, your maker, who spread out the heavens and set the foundations of the earth. You are terrified continually all day long because of the oppressor's fury when he prepares to destroy. But where is the oppressor's fury? Now, you can jump down to 15. I am Yah, your God, your Elohim, who stirs up the sea and its waves rage, whose name is Yah, master of legions. I guess the part that I want to really pinpoint is verse 12. We seeing. I guess the main reason I'm steady bringing this out is because we're continuing to see that he's steady bringing this out. I really believe it's a reason leading up into this point where we're at in Yeshua or Isaiah. But the Most High is continuing to let us know who he is. I'm the one who comforts you. I'm the one that brought you out. I'm the one that made the canvas. I'm the one, X, Y, and Z. So I just really think that needs to be understood, man. I don't think it's understood today because apparently it wasn't understood then if he had to continue to say it. So that's something that really has been bothering me lately, and I see it continue to bother him back then. So I'm pretty sure it's still bothering him now. That's all I got.
Yeah, that was good. So it's some more stuff in here, like far as showing that the salvation of what Isaiah or Yeshua was talking about was something relevant to their time. I want to hit that before I go into another point, just to keep building on that fact from my last point. When you go to 14, and the reason why I said that is because I was reading my version along with his version, and I saw it right up under here. So it say, people in prison will soon be made free. This is verse 14. Will soon be made free. They will not die and rot in prison. They will have plenty of food. I am the Lord your God, the one who stirs up the sea and make the waves roar. The Lord, all-powerful, is his name. So that's just showing you that it was something that was relevant for the people of that time. You know, he's not telling them of a salvation that don't apply to them. That kind of don't even make sense. Why don't you just tell the people when they born, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to say y'all, as if the Most High can't talk to us right now about our situation, what we got going on. So it kind of just don't make sense to me, you know, how people could just think that the Most High got to talk to us through a book, you know what I'm saying, about our situations, what we got going on right now, and then he just told the people that was going through the stuff that they were going through, told them so they could write it down so it could be told to us. I mean, it just kind of baffles me a little bit, as if the Most High ain't a living hell, like he don't speak right now. But like I said before, we could relate to it because his salvation endures forever. His goodness endures forever. So things he did then, he would do now. Like, he don't change. So, of course, it would be easy to look at it and see how it relate to us, but it don't have to be that it was for us in that manner, like as if he had to say it back then to tell us now. You know what I'm saying? But let me get into okay, this point gonna capitalize on that one. So the point I want to bring out, I'm gonna skip this one point. Maybe Oa said, but if not, I'll go back to it. But I just want to capitalize on this, Isaiah 51 and 16, which kind of describes a little bit about what I'm saying too. So 16, he say, my servant, I gave you the words I want you to say, and I covered you with my hands to protect you. I did this to make a new heaven and earth, and so that you would say to Israel, you are my people. So this same type of language is something that we've seen over and over again. New heaven, new earth. You know what I'm saying? That just means he's restoring something. That don't mean like he gonna completely make a whole new heaven and earth. It's figurative speech saying that you're gonna restore something. It's like if I refurbish something, it's new. They sell it as if it's new, but it's refurbished. You know what I'm saying? So that's the same concept. The land was desolate, and then if he restored the temple, they rebuild the temple. It's a new temple. It's rebuilt, so it ain't like a whole new thing. So I guess I'll just do that little short one right there and pass it.
All right, good stuff. Ramon, though, I forgot a little part of what I want earlier that I've been pointing out the whole time since we've been going through this, but now we're getting a little deeper. My righteousness is near. This is 5. My salvation is gone forth, and my arms shall judge the people. All right. The owl shall wait upon me, and on mine arm shall they trust. Now, I wish it was like a classroom, because this would be the point where I say, now what have we said arms was? All right, now we keep on going. This is exactly where I would, inflict those. But I wanted to say that because it's going to come up again. All right, now, and I also want to, I can also kind of elaborate, I guess. So his power, his judgment has gone forth. And basically, when you say the salvation is near, I mean, we can even talk to the fact that at that time, I mean, Persia was taking over stuff at the same time. So it's like it's coming. They just ain't got here yet. But they taking over stuff. And it was known that they was one of the only kingdoms that allowed people to practice their own belief. Like, go back to their homes at that time and restore their place. This is what that kingdom was known for. Allowing people to go back and restore. So it was the perfect king. I said it again. The perfect king to take over Babylon and be the superpower at that time for Israel. You know what I'm saying? He was already coming. But I'm going to move forward. I wanted to bring it out, and I wanted to say something about what Yahya said. Yahya said that he can speak to us in this time. I absolutely believe that. I want to say this also. Who's to say, like we said, we got this little number. Why can't we take over Israel, and go back to our land? Why can't we go back to our land, or plan to go back to our land? You know what I'm saying? Set up camp and do what we got to do and be like that cancer in the belly that just won't go away. They know who we are. That's why they want us. You know what I'm saying? But who's to say, his salvation is always, you know what I mean? And always he woke you up. For what? Right? To stay in America and wait on something. I mean, I guess that could be a possibility. A lot of people that woke up and died. I don't know. I kind of want to see something. That's just me. But moving on. I'm gonna go to. I had to go to 9. I just jumped around, and it has talked about. Bumps me out.
I knew you would go to it. That's why I left it for you.
Man, look, can't get past it. You gotta almost read the chapter almost. Awake, awake, put on the strength, O arm of Yah. Right? Awake as in the ancient days and generations of old. Art thou not it that has cut Rahab and wounded the dragon? I laugh because, man, it's English sometimes. Art thou not it which has dried the sea, the waters of the great deep, that has made the depths of the sea a way for the ransom to pass over? So, if you look at this, the dragon, after the one that dried up the seas and the river, the great deep, the depths of the sea, and the ransom passed over, that sounds like an event to me. It sounds like events to me, but we can say, let's for sure know at least one of those events, right? That sounds like the Passover, you know what I'm talking about, the Red Sea, Moses and them, Egyptians, right? So this looks like a proclamation, and it's talking to the arm, but more so poetic language. It's not talking to the arm of the Most High, but he's like awake, awake, O arm of Yah. We waiting on you. Just said you just said the arms is coming. Awake, O arms. Aren't you the one that did such and such, 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 such? Okay. I mean, I know you can read it any way you want to. And if anybody disagree with the renderings, because I'm going to do nothing but read it, you know what I'm saying? But in lieu of everything that we're talking about, if anybody doesn't agree with that, I mean, hey, I'm always down to hear, because it doesn't have to be my way or the highway in my head. I want the right way. So, that's all. I'm not going to spend too much time on that, and I'll render the flow. I did have something, another thing that Yediyah said, because he was all on my point, so I can't go. I don't want to go back over it. All right. He went to 14. I believe he said the captives of exile has. It says this in KJV. It goes, the captives exile hasten, that he may be loosened. Right. His uses the prisoners. So I'm pretty sure it's the same root word. And I'm just like, why they didn't use prisoners? Because that would loop back to, man, do y'all know the scripture right over here? Let's talk about prisoners. I mean, I probably know them real quick, but 48, 49. It was not that far. So, Okay, that must in 49 and 9. That must say, to the prisoners, go forth. To them that are in darkness, show yourselves. They shall feed in the ways, their pastures shall be in high places. They shall not hunger nor thirst. All right, this is one instance where he's talking about the prisoners, and it's another one. Oh, wait, man, I'm not gonna. I'll probably find it later. Now, also, I just ran across the scripture that maybe it just needs to be read. If there was any question on what captivity you were talking about, here we go in 48 and 14, and that was one thing that was highlighted. It's, all ye assemble yourselves and hear, which are among them declared these things, that Yah has loved him. He will do his pleasure on Babylon, and his arm shall be on the Chaldeans. Okay? So that's who the arm is coming for, the Babylon. In this instance, I would say the arm would have been Cyrus, because that's who's coming. Well, that's who said it was coming to the Bible. So, this was saying the arm thing is not a real arm. That's one thing, and also it's a demonstration of something. All right, arm is, if you looked at the arm symbol in the Hebrew, which would be a yod, it would represent, I believe I'm telling you, it would represent power or work. Okay, that's one of the definitions of this symbol of the arm, work. This is how Hebrew thought process goes when they thought of arm. I'm going to yield the flow with that. I put a lot of information out of this, but if anybody has something they want to say. It goes to Shema, if you got anything. Caveat, I don't know if anybody did that. Q, I'll check in a minute, and then yada yada after that.
Yeah, I don't have anything else for this chapter.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, so I did want to kind of go back to what you was talking about the arm. In my version, it reads, wake up, arm of the Lord. Okay, so first thing, he has been talking to the people of Israel. So I don't think he switched and started talking to somebody else. So when he say, wake up, arm of the Lord, he's talking to Israel. He said, clothe yourself with strength, because right now they downtrodden, they oppressed. Show your power the way you did long ago, as you have from ancient times. You are the one who destroyed Rahab. You defeated the dragon. You dried up the water that was in the deep sea. You made a road through the deepest parts of the sea. Your people crossed over and were saved. So we know the Most High worked through his people during these events. So like he said, it sound like, I'm not gonna say it sound like, I'm gonna say that is referencing when the Most High parted the Red Sea through Moses, and they crossed through dry land. That's what it's referencing. So he's telling them, when you go back up, matter of fact, there's one thing Shema had hit that I wanted to. I saw it read kind of. I like the way it read in this version. What did he say? Something about being afraid of the people. Shema, what was one of the verses you was talking about where he said, I am the Most High, or I'm the one that, huh?
I just thought about afraid. The Rebels was 7, but
verse 12.
No, it was 12.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
He who comforts you.
Okay. So in my verse,
That
say the Lord says, I am the one who comforts you. So why should you be afraid of people? They are only humans who live and die like the grass. And then 13 say, I, the Lord, am the one who made you. With my power, I made the earth and spread the sky over the earth. But you have forgotten me. So you are always afraid that angry men will hurt you. So during the time of these great events that happened, they was down with the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Moshe was leading the people. They believed in the Most High. They you know what I'm saying? It was fresh. Their belief was fresh in the Most High. Moshe kept going to Pharaoh. He was like, you know, the Most High said, let my people go. Like, he wouldn't back down because they believed in the Most High. So the Most High had their back. That's the power. Where he said, clothe yourself with strength. The Most High is their strength. Right now, they ain't been believing in the Most High. They ain't been following in the Most High's ways. That's why I say the people that believe in me, that try to do right, you should listen to me. Like, put this power back on. Put me back on. We, you know, people up here doing you bad and all this stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Put that strength back on. Show your power the way you did long ago. How did they show their power? What is their power? The Most High is their power. You know what I'm saying? Put me back on. You know, that is the arm of the Most High. The Most High always did his works through Israel. How did he said, you know what I'm saying, I did this so all would know who I am. How did they know who he was? Through Israel. You know what I'm saying? When he did great works through them. So this is what he's saying. Okay, and then so that's the caveat on that, what he was talking about. And then what I want to, my last point is something that I did not realize was in the Old Testament, okay? The cup of the Lord's wrath. That's not a new concept. That is not a New Testament concept. It shocked me when I ran across this. 17. Wake up, Jerusalem, get up. The Lord was very angry with you, so you were punished. They were punished. It was like a cup of poison you had to drink, and you drank it all. Somebody read that in another version for me, please.
I can do KJV.
Okay, read KJV, please.
That's which page you started? 22?
No, 17. Then I'm gonna go down to 22 and 23.
Okay,
I ain't
my
got
bad.
there yet.
Awake, awake, stand up, O Jerusalem, which has drunk at the hand of the Lord the cup of his fury. Thou hast drunken the dregs of the cup of trembling, and wrung them out.
Okay, so basically saying the same thing. They drunk of the cup of the Lord's wrath. So, also, this kind of gives us a snapshot of what that actually means. Let's see who they drinking this for or whatever. So, 22, your God is the one who fights for his people. He is your Lord God. He says to you, look, I am taking this cup of poison away from you. It is full of my anger, and I am taking it out of your hand. You will not be punished by my anger again. I will now use my anger to punish people who hurt you. They tried to kill you. They told you, bow down before us, and we will walk on you. They forced you to bow down before them, and then they walked on your back like dirt. You were like a road for them to walk on. So this is a reversal of the cup. He like, look, y'all been drinking for this cup. Y'all drunk the cup of my wrath. It's a figure of speech, cup of wrath. I'm pretty sure y'all have heard this before. This is also something of the New Testament. Take this cup away from me, O Lord. Okay? Drinking of this cup. It's a cup of wrath. Basically, when you are being punished by the Most High, they figuratively say it's the cup of his wrath. You drinking from the cup of his wrath. I never knew this concept or this speech or this saying was in the Old Testament. I want to know, did y'all know that? Did y'all ever see that before? I've never seen it. I'll be honest. I never read that before. That's my last point. And we got Brother Mercy in the queue. So, you got the flow. You the host. You do what you want to do with it.
I want to comment on what you said, bro, before we go for lunch.
I mean, yeah, I was going to comment off it too, but go ahead.
No, I didn't read that. Well, I read it today or whatever, but I didn't pay attention to it before architectural study. But I always said this, and I'm going to stand on it. The people in the New Testament time, those Hebrews, those Israelites, or Yahudim, or Yahudi Jews, whatever, they operated under the understanding, the same understanding that the people of this time had. What I mean by that is, I feel that anything that was taught in that particular time was passed down from this particular time that we are reading about. So, you know what I'm saying? So I say that to say this. That saying, I can see it. You know what I'm saying? I can see it being that it originated in this time, or they just said it, like you said, it was something that they said when they was going through that, so it was within their culture. So it's nothing new. Within the new, it was still the same people, and I can see it being passed down culturally.
All right. And that's I can agree with that. As far as the saying being passed down culturally, so it wouldn't be something new to be shared. And now I didn't read it like that because, I think when I first read it, it's a different type of eyes I got now. You know what I'm saying? From when I, read it previously to my fresher set of eyes. You know what I'm saying? You miss a lot of stuff sometimes. So, and then it doesn't really. This one says in KJV, 17, cup of fury. You know what I'm saying? Same thing. But you're not reading it like that. You know what I mean? Then it says down here, it says cup of my fury. But fury and wrath will be the same thing. You know what I'm saying? But now I'm reading, I see, knowing words and stuff, now I see it differently. Like, oh, they just changed the words. You know what I'm saying? But, no, I didn't see it previously. That's to answer your question. I wanted to bring out some points in 21, 22. But also I wanted to comment on what Yadiah said, because I don't know, it would sound like we were saying the same thing, but not really. So I don't know. I as far as Israel doing some stuff, yeah, I agree. They just was not the person to do it this time. They just wasn't, right? As far as put on the strength, as far as strengthening yourself up, I believe that. You know what I'm saying? Then, you know what I'm saying? It just is. We would have to look at. And it all are concepts, you know what I'm saying? The arm being, a different aspect. Because in some aspects, it's okay, the arm, and it's not directly a person, but he's using someone. And
I like to respond when you're done.
No, that's cool. Because he said he was going to use Cyrus. And this is one of the first times that we see he used a non-Israelite to do this bidding. You know what I'm saying? Well, not really. Not really. if I just thought about it, Assyria did the biddings. You know what I'm saying? He will use another nation to knock off your enemy, and you ain't even got to do nothing. So, but yeah, I'll let you respond to that before I move forward, so I don't get lost in something.
Okay, so all I was simply saying, and then I got a question for you. So all I was saying is, in that instance, I feel like in 9, the arm is referring to Israel. I'm not saying that Cyrus is not also an arm, because anybody the Most High used would be his arm to do the works. So what I'm asking you is, since you see like we saying something different or whatever, I would ask you, are you saying that 9 you think is referring to Cyrus? And if so, do all those things within the context that he is saying fit Cyrus, or do it fit Israel?
No, because that's what I'm saying. Not as far as in 9. In 9, it's just talking about the Most High. That's what I saw. Because you talking about some awake as in the ancient of days, and I might have to read it in a different version also. You know what I'm saying? I have to actually read this verse differently too. But if I read it in KJV, whatever, awake, awake, put on strength, O arm of Yah. Okay? And then awake as an ancient of days. I see exactly what you're saying. You know, say, art thou had cut Rahab and wounded the dragon, art thou not which dries up the seas. When I heard all that, I started immediately reflecting it to the Most High. Now, I don't reflect any arm technically to any person. That's why I was like, it's kind of hard to. It all comes from the Most High. You know what I'm saying? So it's to me.
That's what I said. I said the power is the Most High.
Right. I think we're saying the same thing. It's just that, you know what I'm saying, there's the power of the Most High, and it's like awake the power of the Most High. But all the way down to the nitty-gritty, what's going to happen, what, you know what I'm saying, that's what I'm thinking. It's like, that's why I go down to the Cyrus, to what method was used. But going to the general, always, like that's what I say, well, he, you know, let's talk about he dried up the waters. I was like, that's the Most High. And that's how I started it. So I'm sorry if it was a little confusing, probably on my end more than anything else. Because I started the whole thing out, and I went to and said, well, that was the Most High. He the one had them go over, you know what I'm saying? So I just saw it a little differently than it being spoken to as far as Israel put on, you know what I mean? But I see, as I'm reading it, like, okay, you could say that too. You know what I'm saying? So I have to read it in different versions and stuff like that. But all in all, I saw the Most High is going to be a reference to more so than anything else. And not it be a reference to Israel. That's what I thought. I thought it was like, because the verbiage flips sometimes, and that's what makes this so confusing. If you even look how the verbiage flips, I wanted to use it and say something about it. I'm glad. In 16, I have put my words in thy mouth, okay? And I have covered thee, you know what I'm saying, in the shadow of my hand. And, you know, so like the Most High flipped, you know what I'm saying, and Isaiah might speak, and this, that, and the other. So it's been doing that. So I just thought it might have been one of those times. And now that I talk about 16, before I open up the flow, because it'll be my last point, all right, it said, I have put my words in thy mouth. I've covered thee in the shadow, you know what I'm saying. I don't know, y'all had said something about this. But I don't know if you point out who words was he talking about at that time. Did you say anything about that?
Nah, I ain't say nothing about that.
All right. When I read this, I see the Most High was talking to Isaiah at this time. Right. And I put my words in my mouth, and I've covered thee in the shadow of my hands, and that I may plant heavens and lay foundation, and to say unto Zion, thou art my people. So this was something that Isaiah was supposed to, you know, he's talking to Isaiah, and say, I put my words in your mouth and use to say, to Zion, give him this message. That's why I had.
I agree. I agree with that. I believe, indeed, at that time, that's in reference to that scripture he's talking about, Isaiah, and then what I talked about on there is that I did this to make a new heaven and earth. So, like I said, he's already in the process of making a new heaven and earth at that time. So it just brings it out a little bit more. So he's in the process of making a new heaven and earth in the time of Isaiah. So he said he did this so he could make a new heaven and earth. But all that really means is that the desolate places and how things were destroyed, he's restoring it as he's promising them right there and there. So every time something is destroyed and he's bringing his redemption and salvation, he's always going to talk about a new heaven and earth. It's not like a place that's going to happen when everybody dies. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm seeing, but anybody can disagree and tell me why they disagree. That's no problem.
I mean, well, we do got Brother Mercy in the queue. I just wanted to make sure I cleared off my I didn't clear off my doggone what's called it. I wanted to say this he didn't bring these points out in 21 and 22. He was talking about the cup. But 21, my last stuff is, therefore hear now this, thou afflicted and drunken, but not with wine. All right? That's how it starts off. It calls these people afflicted and drunken, but not with wine. Now, what was they drunk off of? The cup of fury from the Most High. Then in 23, but I will put a hand on them that afflict thee, which I said to them. So I just want to bring that afflicted out. So Israel, here's Israel afflicted. If you didn't think they were being afflicted, they told you just right there. And before we move forward to some of these other verses, I had to make sure that I brought this up. And I'm done. And if y'all,
I want to say something real quick. I want to say something in regards to that. And I'm about to bring something out powerful. Once we done, before we hit 53, I'm about to bring something out that's going to connect with everything these brothers saying, especially the last thing that Yosef said. But I want to really get you all to pay attention to what the last thing he said as far as Israel being afflicted. I think that, and I'm going to be the one out of the three, I know we all saying it, but I'm going to be the one that's getting on y'all nerves when I continue to do this. We have been countlessly bringing out points that we was seeing for the first time throughout Isaiah, pointing to Israel in that regards of what they was going through, as far as being afflicted, being I'm not going to say the next two parts. You're going to see that at the end of 52. But just pay attention to what's being brought out. And then what we're saying, make sure after you see it, you go back and you start from Isaiah 1 yourself, and you have new eyes to see contextually and then see what people that Isaiah is speaking of. And with that, I yield and I'll turn the floor over. I can't wait till we get done with 52 so I can show y'all what I want to show y'all. Because I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back to show you what I mean when I say context and consistency. So go ahead.
All right. Well, I think I'm going to open up Brother Mercy line if there's no objections. Get your stopwatch ready. And if you need, if you can't convey it, a small extension can be given. All right. Brother Mercy, you're live.
Yeah, I was going to say real quickly that in verse 18 it says, not one of your many children there to guide you or to offer a helping hand. You've been destroyed by war and by famine. I cannot comfort you. So for everyone there waiting for a pie in the sky, he can't comfort. Okay, I just wanted to say that. Let's see. That you might want to digest that.
Hey, Brother Mercy, I'm gonna make sure you get your full time. But what is this pie in the sky that you speak of? You know what I'm saying? I heard you say that multiple times. Can you break down for us this pie in the sky? I'm gonna extend your time, so don't worry about that. If that's okay with the host.
Thank you, Brother Guy. Thank you so much. I'm trying to rush through.
Okay, I ain't gonna put you on the spot. I ain't gonna put you on the spot, Brother Mercy. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you have your little.
No, I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna ask you a question. The pie in the sky for those individuals who waiting for something to happen before they be like Abraham on their walking by faith to the promised land. For anybody that wants to sit in America and wait for something to drop out the sky instead of walking by faith to the promised land and inheriting Yah's promises, because some people are actually waiting in America for something to happen before they do something. So that's what I mean by pie in the sky. You know, that's that old saying, they waiting for something to happen, something to drop out the sky, you know. A cooked pie.
Okay.
Got it. And, you know, some people say there was heaven's bakery. There's a bakery in heaven. Some people believe there's an oven in heaven where God is cooking pies for them or whatever. But anyway, I just want to say real quickly, I want to harp on what he said, I cannot comfort you. You know, I wanted to harp on that. And then he says in verse 22, and I'm almost done. To the Lord your God defends you, it says, I have taken your hands, the cup filled with my anger that made you drunk. You would never be forced to drink it again. In other words, he's not going to force you to drink it again, drink from his anger again. And I just wanted to, then he said he's going to give it to his enemies. But I just wanted to say real quick that he can't comfort them during this time because they was conquered by war and by famine. So some people are waiting for the Lord's comfort in America, but he's saying, I can't comfort you. And I'm done.
All right. Good stuff. I don't know if anyone if you had a rebuttal for that, or any of the panel members, or comments, questions, or anything.
No rebuttal. I mean, I appreciate him elaborating on the pie in the sky thing. I've been wanting to ask him, but today was that day, and I already knew what he was saying in a sense, but I just want to hear it from his mouth. And I totally agree. You know what I'm saying? We can't sit and wait. I don't think nobody sat and wait. They actually did something, and the Most High was there with them. You know what I'm saying? And he comforted them, and he led them in what it was that they were supposed to do. It wasn't like just sit on your hands type of deal and wait for the pie in the sky, as Mercy would say. So I appreciate that. That's something I think we all need to ponder on, meditate on, as Shema would say, and come back to the drawing board and discuss.
Okay. That's it for this chapter. We can move forward if nobody has anything.
Mercy jumped back in the queue.
Okay.
He jumped back out. I don't know what he's doing. he playing double dutch.
Yeah, jumping in, jumping out on the line. Okay, yeah, you got the floor. Take 52. Start it off.
All righty. So 52. So, just to start it off, it's just a continuation. And we see 1 and 2 that he is basically given a status, metaphorically, of Zion and instructing them to prepare to become holy again. So it's like in the midst of the land being invaded, the Most High is basically saying he gonna remove them, get prepared for the holy, to become holy again, to set up everything that was set up before, to be restored basically. as we've been leading to. So I'm going to just read it, and then I'm going to pass it and let y'all start off with points or whatever. But it say, in my version, wake up, Zion, clothe yourself with strength, holy city of Jerusalem. Stand up and put on your beautiful clothes. Those filthy foreigners will not enter you again. Jerusalem, get up and shake off the dust. Daughter Zion, you were a prisoner, but take the chains off your neck. So going back to what I was bringing out, it's like he getting the people ready to return. So that's why I was on that part where we say, arm of the Lord, you know what I'm saying, strengthen yourselves, and, you know, get ready to, you know, basically he about to restore. So he getting the people ready, and now he going to the land and kind of speaking to the land, holy city of Jerusalem, to get ready. So it's like basically it's metaphoric speech, but it's like people, my holy people get ready, my holy city get ready. I'm about to restore what we once had before, you know. So that's kind of where we at with 52.
All right. It goes to me. I did have two, but he said loose the band, so I'm going to start there and then go into 3. For thus says Yah, you have sold yourself for nothing. Uh-oh. Ye shall be redeemed without money. Now this hit me. This was hitting me, man. I'm telling you. For thus says Yah, my people went down aforetime into Egypt to sojourn there, and the Syrians oppressed them without cause. Now therefore, what have I here, says Yah, that my people is taken away for nothing. They that rule over them make them howl, says Yah, and my name continually every day is blessed. Okay. A lot of stuff in there I saw, okay? So my question would have been, I'm going to go from the bottom, is how would you say that his name was blasphemy amongst the people? It was one of them things I was told. I was wondering what does he mean by that? Does it mean it by, you know, the oppressors, you know, talking like, yeah, where's your Yah now? Or the people like, man, you know how people get. You know what I'm saying? Doubting and talking bad about the Most High. I didn't understand. When he said, but that was just a little question. There's nothing big. That's for the panel or anybody else, you know, how y'all saw that. But going back up, it says, for thus says, Yah, my people went down 4 times to Egypt to sojourn there, and the Assyrians oppressed them without cause. When did this happen? That's another question. All right, going up to 3, for thus says, you have been sold for nothing. You shall be redeemed without money. That sounded so like something else. You have sold yourselves for nothing. So that verbiage sounded like okay. That verbiage sounded like 68 Deuteronomy 28:60. And y'all shall bring into Egypt again with ships by the way of I spoke unto thee. Thou shalt see no more again, and there shall be sold into your enemies. That should be, and you'll sell yourselves to your enemies for bondsmen and for bondswomen, and no man shall redeem you or buy you. It just sounded very familiar. I'm not saying that this has to be your concrete evidence.
I ain't gonna lie. When I read different versions, that came to mind too. But it was like the way different ones read, I just left it alone. I had it in my notes. I took them out. So, I mean, it is interesting that somebody else picked up on that too. So I wasn't going to even talk about it, but, you know what I'm saying? It is interesting.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's like, when I read it, I say, and I told you I've been seeing stuff that's been leading me away from, you know what I'm saying, some stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, like people say, well, when did they go back in ships? They just said they went to sojourn in Egypt. And Assyria came there and oppressed them. So now they slaves in Egypt. And they walked on dry ground the way they going. You think they walked back? They probably took a ship. But this ain't concrete. I'm just saying they couldn't get back to Egypt without being in the ship. And I know they went to Egypt. Well, maybe they could have walked. I don't know. It's a long walk. But I know they was in Egypt. You just seen the proof that they was in Egypt. You know what I'm saying? So now you know they went back to Egypt, and you know they got oppressed in that land. And he just said they sold themselves for nothing. And, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know, man. It's just too much wordplay. You know what I'm saying? Now, therefore, the Lord's taken away, that my people was taken away from nothing. They that ruled over them make them howl and says, Yah, and my name continue to be blasphemed. That's how it ends. Well, my point end off. So it was just some bing, 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 binging off of my head because I've been seeing stuff like, okay, well, they was in Egypt. I didn't know they went back to Egypt. And I remember I was telling y'all, like, man, I don't know. I see them in Egypt. I see the scripture saying they was in Egypt. So can't nobody say they wasn't. And this is after the fact. Now, always, when do we go back to Egypt and ships? Well, they went back to Egypt. When was they slaves in Egypt? The Assyrians oppressed them. These are things that can be answered. So, I'm not 100% sold that
So this is one of our rest show topics. I think we definitely need to go ahead and put that on the table and talk about it. Because it is, like I said, it is interesting when I saw it, but I also don't want people to get the wrong idea of what's being said either. But truth is truth. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, truth is truth. So we definitely need to hit that.
For sure. I ain't gonna spend no more time on it. It was just my point. So it was kind of, I was like, well, it came back up. You know what I'm saying? So it's been popping up. So that was one of my main points with that. And I had the question for about number 5 at the end. It says, and my name continued every day is blasphemy. What y'all think that is? I mean, it's all conjecture, I guess. You think that the people are blaspheming, that it's oppressing them, or Israel is blaspheming because they're being oppressed?
You want us to answer that now?
Yeah, and I brought my point out, and that's my little question. If y'all wanted to, engage in that one.
Okay, so since it's Shamago, he can go and when it come back around to me, I could address it before I go to my point. If that's how you want to do it, or I could just answer now.
You can answer
and then
now.
Shamago go. All right, so the way I see it is that the actual nations basically. Okay, let me say it like this. So the Lord's reputation is directly connected to the state of Israel. Like, when they felon, it seems as if the Most High is felon. You know what I'm saying? Just like when Moshe was saying, oh, if you kill them in the wilderness, the people going to say that you did this or whatever, just that. You know what I'm saying? So everything that happened with Israel is attested to the Most High's name or reputation. Because when you read in 5, it say, now look what has happened. Another nation has taken my people, says the Lord. That country did not pay to take my people, but they rule over them and laugh at them, and they say bad things about me all the time. That's how mine renders. So it's like what you were saying, how they like, oh, where's your God now? You know what I'm saying? Even we saw when old boy visited, he was like, Yah's not going to save you. What make you think your God going to save you? Who's that, from the messengers from Assyria? Said that?
Yeah.
When during the days of King Hezekiah? And then even when you go...
Hezekiah, when he spoke to Hezekiah, the one dude that the government was supposed to be on the shows.
Right.
He spoke, and it was like, speak to us in Aramaic. No, speak to us in Hebrew. Something like that. So the other people don't hear you.
And even when you go to just go as far back as Isaiah 48, what we just read not too long ago, we remember 48:9. He was saying, for my name's sake I will defer my anger, and for my praise I will restrain it from you, so that I do not cut you off. That's then 10, behold, I have refined you, but not as silver. I have tested you in the furnace of affliction. 11, for my own sake I will do it. For how should my name be profaned? And I will not give my glory to another. So that's what he's saying. Like, when they afflicted, when all this stuff bad happened to them, it looked bad on him. So for his name's sake, he gonna bring them out, is what he was saying in 48. So that's my take on it.
I like that, because that's what I thought that it looked just. I thought of it being as looking bad on the Most High. So that's how his name was blasting, like. Which brings me to another question. It's like a rabbit hole. So, would you say? I guess it's a dual question. Would you say that these type of activities is connected to Israel and the land, or just Israel as the people? But if we say it's Israel as the people, and we could say that, and we say that the Israel as a people is sitting over here in America, in the mass, would you say that the one instance where it's just Israel as a people, that the Most High's name is being blasphemed, now how they treating people? Or the one hand is the Israel and the land, you know what I'm saying? So it's a dual connection, because, like, you disrespected my people, you know what I'm saying, in that whole era, in that time frame, in that land type of deal.
So, in a very analytical way, I would have to say that the game done got thrown off, because now everybody claiming that they serve Yah, no matter who they is. So it's not an exclusive God no more. So during that time, given the situation that they was in, everybody didn't serve Yah. Yah was like exclusive God to Israel, unless you was a part of the nation and you served, or you left your idols and you came and got down with the covenant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. If you notice, they always refer to Yah as the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which would be the people who became the predecessors of the people who became Israelites. So the faith of Israelites started with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and it was exclusive to them. But now that's not the case. So people just say God, and they automatically associate it with the Bible, which is a Hebrew book, and these people are not Hebrew, so they have taken on the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So no matter what they do, like, people has basically destroyed that concept of people saying, oh, your God. The only other thing you look at now is you see people arguing if that's really the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob that you're serving. but everybody say that they serve the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, unless they're Buddhist or some other religion, Allah or, Muslim faith or something like that, or Egyptology, Kemet, or whatever. Them are the only other people that you look at. But when somebody say, you got other nations. So this was a national God back then. You know what I'm saying? But now it's not. Though he said he's the God of, all things because he created all things, everybody didn't see it that way.
Something came to my head when you said that. You said that everybody claim the Yah now. Whether or not, they feel like they claiming them or doing what is right. But everybody, got their part. So if I was to say a word in Hebrew terms, this is like a little bit off subject, but on the subject what you're saying, it says, all nations will worship me. That would make all nations do worship him. That not everybody in every nation, but you probably got
every nation have somebody that recognize
that worship the Most High, and it went from cultural, like that locational, national, like you said, into worldwide. Even if it's a small piece over here and a bigger piece over here, is a piece of every nation that's serving Yah.
Right.
All right. My bad.
So back then, though, it was it was a battle of the gods. It was like, your God against my God type of deal. And whoever wins in battle, just like David, like, who is this uncircumcised Philistine? My God, I serve Yah. Like, how he going to come and do this? And then David won. It was like, your God is better than my God. That was the old ancient culture. That's how they did things. That's how they settled things. That's how they acknowledged gods. You know what I'm saying? That's why when he was looking, Pharaoh, when Moshe went, Pharaoh was looking in the books or whatever, or trying to see, well, who is this God you talking about? Because they never had heard of that before. You know what I'm saying? But they had a book. They book had multiple gods in there. It's full of gods, but it was no Yah. You know what I'm saying? So they like, who is Yah? Whatever. You know what I'm saying? So that's the old culture versus new culture type of deal. Don't nobody get down like that. Like, my God against your God. No, everybody think they serve the same God, but they just have differences and they be bickering over that.
Hey, that's I think that's a wider span, like the culture. We gotta have like the time where we just talk about the culture of Israel, because that's real right there. Like the stuff he's saying that's the way it was. Your God versus my God. Now it ain't like that. Well, to an extent, people be banging talk about people about to down Facebook over an argument, but other than that, it ain't like David in them days. But moving right along. Did you have more that you had to say on them?
Nah, I was just trying to answer your question just from my perspective. I know Shammai, he answered and he go into his points.
Before I passed the mic on, I was asking.
Oh no, I ain't got nothing else.
Okay. All right. The mic is passed.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add to that. He already said it. What he said suffice.
It's your time for points, though. I think Mercy in the queue too.
My point is the very last three. 11 through 13, and I got some stuff to bring behind it. So if y'all want me to be the last person, I'll do that, because I got stuff to bring that leads into chapter 53. So my only point and last point is 11 to 13, accompanied with things that I have to attach to it. So I don't know if y'all want me to still go, you want me to wait?
I mean, I got some after 13. as well. So I mean, it don't really.
I ain't talking about the verses. I'm talking about I'm bringing stuff from past. Like I'm be speaking for a minute, so that's what I'm saying. Like,
Okay. Yeah, my stuff I'm gonna just get straight to it. I ain't gonna like revisit anything old. So it's on no, whatever you want to do. We got Mercy in the queue though. Just to let you know.
We'll open up the flow, and since he's gonna take a minute, I will let him go last. And it's at the end of the what you call it, so we can. I only had a couple points, left anyway. It just all depend on how much you got in there. But I can let Brother Mercy in, so if he has something to comment on what was said previously to this, obviously. I'm gonna let you in real quick. You live, Brother Mercy. You live. Brother Mercy, I don't know if you're talking, but I can't hear you. Can anybody else hear him, or am I the only one?
Nah, I can't hear him.
Okay. I'm going to take you out and try to put you back in, Brother Mercy. All right, you're live.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Can you hear me? Okay, you hear me now? Okay, I wanted to talk about verse 3, and hopefully Shamar, when he ends the chapter, he'll touch on this too. But I want to talk about verse 3, and I'm going to relate it back to Abraham and Sarah. The Lord says, "My people were sold." The Lord says, "My people you were sold, but not for money. Now you be set free, but not for payment." I want to discuss that for a minute because the thing is, we know what happened with Abraham and Sarah and Hagar. Hagar was the bondservant, yet and still her son was supposed to be selected to be an heir. So it's obviously that the slavery did not continue to the next generation. So what we have, what Isaiah is simply saying here is that we've been in America for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, and whatever agreement that was made between the oppressor and our mother, or whoever was made with, it don't include us, because the slave is supposed to end between the two people that made the agreement, that owed the debt. So whatever agreement that was made that put us in oppression, it doesn't involve us. So we should be able to walk away freely. Without payment. We should, so I just wanted to say that because some people think that, that we're here, we have to stay here, we have to deal with this oppression. No. We can walk away any time. It's like Abraham can walk away any time. Abraham just walked away, so without payment, without any time, he just walked away. So I just wanted to say that, that our people, when they were enslaved, I think it was an illegal slavery if it continued generations later. But yeah, he talks about several oppressions, Egypt, Assyrians, and all of those. But I just wanted to say, yeah, we should be able to walk away, just like Abraham did, walk by faith to the promised land, because he's not going to make payment to set us free because we have no obligations here. And so since we have no obligations, we don't owe any debts, we shouldn't have to stay here. So that's all I had to say.
All right, Brother Mercy, I took you out the queue. You know what to do. In response to what he said, I want to respond, and I don't know if anybody else wants to say anything. I think there's a difference between being captives and oppressed. In my way of thinking it, and even difference with being, even if you want to say exiled and in captivity, because, when you think of a captive, or a prisoner, they can't go anywhere. So I'm going to stop saying that I'm in captivity because I'm putting myself there mentally, point blank, period. Because I'm telling myself, if y'all believe there's power in the word, I'm putting out in the atmosphere that I'm stuck in a place that I can't move. My only limitation, honestly, is money. With enough money, I can go wherever I want to go. So I'm not stuck here. I'm not captive. I might be oppressed in this land because of the systems that might be put in place that I have to maneuver around, but I can get around them. You know what I'm saying? Sky's the limit. We have the Most High on our side. We can get it done. He'll open up avenues for whatever we want to do. If everybody believes, you know what I'm saying, the way I believe, you know, in that aspect. But I'm not a captive, so I can no longer call it captivity. Like he was saying, I can go. It's just that what's on the other side is what's the fear thing. And then another thing is not having the money to go. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have the money to go, you're just going to go. But I've seen on Facebook, some cats said they sold all their stuff and just took off. Now, I'm not about to do that. I'm finna establish some things before I take off. Because one of the guys was like, hey, I'm just kind of like making it, living day by day, learning as I go. Nah, I'm not finna go that route. Nomadish like, you know what I mean? And, walking around trying to figure out my next move. No, I'm going to have a plan set in place before I go anywhere. And I'm going to have, I want to buy some land or something, you know what I mean, and set up some stuff before I take off so I can go into some comfortability where I go there and not be a homeless person on the streets. But that's the only thing. Like, I just wanted to cap it because he said what he said I agree with. I think we have to stop saying that we're captives, that we're in captivity. You can say you're in oppression. And if you stop thinking that you have to be here, you will realize that the sky is the limit. We can do whatever we wanted. Like, we have the Most High on our side. I don't know how you understand what I'm saying. But I'm not going to go into a soapbox. And I don't know if anyone had something to reply on Brother Mercer's comment before we move forward.
Just that I agree, and then what you caveat with is statable. You know what I'm saying? Not being in captivity, you just oppressed. So, I mean, that's a statable quote right there because that is true. It's very true. You know, but as long as we keep speaking that power in words is what we believe. As long as we keep saying that, I guess you won't never move. You won't ever try to break free because you always saying we captives. Captives have no rights at all. That's what people that talk down on Martin Luther King, at least he got the captivity off of you so you could move around. And now it's on you. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I say with this.
And you know what's crazy? And let me show you how the Most High works. We didn't do it ourselves. Let me keep it 1,000. They fought within each other to set us free because of economics. Yeah. The gap was so big, that's why you had the Civil War thing. You got them fighting against each other to set us free. Now, was you just going to walk out and do whatever you want? I mean, it took some years of,
and more battles. It was different battles. You know what I'm saying? That was a different battle than Martin Luther King fought. But, you know what I'm saying? That initial, there was economic reasons and all that stuff like that. And, it's been a long time coming, you know, but that's just what it is, man.
Like you said, it started somewhere, and then it ends up, you know, like you say, battles, and then hundreds of years later, you have somebody that's able to stand on a podium and be able to speak that type of stuff. But they had to start, like I say, it got stirred up between, and the Most High be moving like that. He'll stir two nations up or a nation against each other just to kind of, y'all free. Y'all understand what that means? I ain't got to keep telling you free. You know you free. Go walk outside your house right now. That's what I'm saying. Like, if I tell my daughter she can have a cookie, she ain't hesitating to get the cookie. And she ain't finna ask me twice.
Rest show topic. Because I feel you running away.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done with it. We can move on to the points, and then we can keep on pushing. So I did the last point, and then we're going to let Shamar go last. So the point will be on you. Did you just try to catch up to where I'm at? It's on you, right?
I guess so. But I got like a few points. Do you want me to run through them all, or do you want us to go back and forth?
We'll go back and forth.
All right. So, real quick, I guess 8 through 10, it just basically showed that Jerusalem is a part of the salvation spoken of through the prophet Isaiah. So it say the city guards are shouting, they are all rejoicing together. They can all see the Lord returning to Zion. Ruins of Jerusalem, be happy again. Rejoice because the Lord comforted his people and set Jerusalem free. The Lord showed his holy strength to all the nations. All the faraway countries saw how God saved his people. So that's that one point right there. So it has to do, this salvation has to do with Jerusalem or Zion as well. It's in conjunction. So in context, when you look at it, there is no, the Israelites are saved without the city being restored. They go hand in hand. In reference to the salvation being spoke of in Isaiah.
Well, I guess the long pause was to let me know it's my turn. So, I agree, and I wanted to go, and he read 10, but I'm reading it in KJV. Instead of the Lord, I always say Yah. Okay, it says, Yah has made bare his holy arm in the eyes of all the nations, and all the ends of the earth shall see the salvation of our Elohim. That's again, what we're saying. In his translation, it says strength. It's the same thing, I said earlier, arm, strength. And this is if you notice, like, Israel, and this is something I've noticed, they have a lot of comparisons with the body parts. Like, the hand, you know what I'm saying? Like, he uses the hand, he uses the arm, the terminology, you know what I'm saying? Head, right. So they use, like, body parts to describe something because that's how they understood. You're talking about an ancient Semitic culture, and their understanding was deep, but they related stuff to pictures and what that function did in the world. And that's why it's named a certain, you know what I mean? Like, that's what it means to them because of the function when they think about that thing. Sometimes for us, you think of an arm, only thing that's going to come out of our head is this thing on the side of my body. So basic. Or the thing that helps me grab stuff. It's kind of basic too. It's the strength of you. Okay? You ain't really doing too much or nothing with no arms. You ain't boxing, playing video games, turning no knobs with your hands. You're not, you got to have, it's a challenge. That's what when you lift weights, you use them arms for them. Even when you do something for the leg, you got to hold them with the arm. Keep that thing steady sometimes. Yeah, they can do that weights now. They can do with just legs. I'm pretty sure you use them arms to hold something to stabilize yourself majority of the time. Just pointing that out. I'm going to go back up to 7. How beautiful are upon the mountains are the feet of him that brings good tidings, that publish peace, that brings good tidings of good, that publish salvation that says unto Zion, thy Elohim reigneth. I've seen that before. This is where they got it from. In the original, this is, talking about this salvation. This is the good news. This is all context. I can't make this up. All right? And that's all I got right there. We do got 9 minutes before we go into the overtime portion. So if anybody's listening online, we're going to finish this one up, then we're going to 53. We're going to go to the overtime portion, of course. But call in 516-595-8238. That's 516-595-8238. I'll try to give another reminder closer in, but this is just one of them. And, your next point.
All right, so I'm going to try to make this quick so we can go ahead and get through this one and get to 53. The narrative of this time, that Judah is in captivity of Babylonia and the redemption and salvation spoken of from Yah through the prophet Isaiah is of a return from captivity to the Holy Land. And I say this because of 11 through 12, which I will read right now. So leave Babylon. It's where he just was talking about in 10. Saved his people. Past tense, saved his people. So leave Babylon. Leave that place. Priests, you carry the things that belong to the Lord, Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh. So make yourself pure. Don't touch anything that is not pure. You will leave Babylon. It's 12. You will leave Babylon, but they will not force you to leave in a hurry. So remember, they left Egypt in a hurry. So you will not leave in a hurry. You will not be forced to run away. The Lord will be in front of you. The God of Israel will be behind you. So basically, he's going to put a hedge of protection around them on their way out, and they're not going to have to leave in haste as they did in Egypt. So, but we can clearly see that they are in Babylon at this point. And in 2 Kings, the Babylonian captivity was starting at the end of Kings. So we can kind of gauge the timeline of certain things going on with that being said. So that's that. And my last one is pretty short too. So I pass it to you though first, and then.
Well, now you I have my stuff is in 12 and 11, 12, those. But I'm gonna let Shamar go ahead and bring his stuff out, and because he might talk about what I want to talk about, but he has a lot more elaboration. So, Shamar, you have the floor now.
All right. I've been quiet and patient, my fellow mates.
Hold on, before you just a little bit more patient. We got about 5 minutes left. I don't want to cut him off when he starts to go. So this will be the last warning I give out. 516-595-8238. Call in. We're going into the overtime portion in about 4 or 5 minutes. All right? And we still have to hit Isaiah 53. So you have the floor, Shema, now.
All right. People that's listening, people that's listening back, grab a pen and sit back. No, I'm playing. Grab a pen and a piece of paper, man. A lot of you know some of the stuff I'm going to bring out, and you might have forgotten. So this is reiterating, but it's going to bring it all together, okay? And it's going to it's going to bring out 53. It's going to introduce 53 so well, in my opinion. Normally don't tap myself on the head or back or whatever. Man, I'm telling y'all, we just, the studies we done did, y'all. Anyway, verses 11 through 13. Man, I'm sorry. I don't know. Whatever. So, I want to bring out something. So, turn away depart from there. It is defiled. Do not touch it. Depart from inside it. Cleanse yourselves, O bearers of Yah, of Yah's armor. I want to stop there before I continue. First of all, stop saying that we can't do nothing. He's telling you to cleanse yourselves. We done read that Isaiah 1. Am I right, Yosef? Isaiah 1, when he's telling them to clean themselves. He's telling you
that's
to cleanse yourself. Well, say that again.
I was just saying that it's correct. That's in 1,
yes,
and
sir.
I believe 16 or something around there. Around 15, 16.
So he's telling you to cleanse yourselves. That has been their concept, that has been their thought since the beginning of time concerning what we've been reading. You can cleanse yourself. How? By doing what thus says the Most High. Pressing to it, trying to live good, like Yah brought out in the previous chapter, I believe. You all are trying to those that try to live good. Cleanse yourself. All right, let's keep going. Verse 12. You will not leave in haste, nor will you go in flight, for Yah will go before you, and the God of Israel will be your rear guard. Who is he talking to at this point, people? Talking to Israel, right? Watch this. So he's telling them to cleanse themselves. Then he's telling them, you will not leave in haste. Yah will go before you and will be your rear guard. So he's going to protect you. I got you. Just go. Change your mind. Cleanse yourself. Let's go. Then he says, behold, my servant will succeed. He will be exalted and become high and exceedingly lofty. Who is the servant? What is the context? The servant is Israel. Shema, you tweaking. The servant ain't Israel. Okay. Get your pens, get your papers. I want y'all to go to Isaiah chapter 27. No. We'll go Isaiah chapter 49, 3 through 6 first. Get your pen, get your paper. Isaiah chapter 49. Now, mind you, this is only 1 point. We have been bringing this out since the beginning of Isaiah, but I'm just bringing this because this is fairly newer. Isaiah chapter 49, verse 3. And it reads, he said to me, you are my servant, Israel, in whom I take glory. Verse 3, he said to me, you are my servant, Israel, in whom I take glory. Let's keep reading. But I said, I have toiled in vain and used up my strength for nothingness and naught. However, my judgment is with Yah, and the reward for my accomplishment is with my God. And now, Yah, who formed me from the belly to be a servant to him, this is Isaiah speaking now, said, I should return to Jacob to him, so that Israel should be gathered to him. So I was honored in God's eyes, and my God was my strength. He said, it is insufficient that you be a servant for me only, to raise up the tribes of Jacob and to restore the ruins of Israel. I will make you a light for the nations, so that my salvation may extend to the ends of the earth. So, 2 things came out right here. Israel is a servant. Isaiah is a servant. Isaiah is a light to the rest of the nations. Now, I want you to go to Isaiah 27, 1 through 8. And after this, I got one more place to go to, and I'm bringing it right back home to Isaiah 52. Isaiah chapter 27, 1 through 8. And if I'm yelling, if I'm too loud, shut me up. But I just want this to be out there, y'all. Okay, so over the course of us going through Isaiah, we kept pointing things out. I don't even have to go into the Hebrew right now to really explain anything as far as past tense, present tense, future tense. I don't have to go into the Hebrew to go into words. We're just going to use context and consistency. what we've been seeing is bringing out personification. You hear a lot of people talking about that, and people ignore it. So we're not going to ignore it right now. Personification is when you are attaching something and you making it as like a person, a land. If you call land her, you know what I'm saying? If you call a group of people he or her or she, that's personifying whatever you're speaking of. But we're going to read Isaiah 27, 1 through 8. And I want to, in this, we are going to see multiple times. I'm going to read KJV too if y'all want me to. But I'm going to read my version first. And if my version suffices, then I won't read KJV. But I encourage those that's listening to read it KJV for yourself. Okay? On that day, chapter 27, verse 1 through 8. On that day, Yah will bring punishment with his harsh, great, mighty sword upon Leviathan, the bar-like serpent, and upon Leviathan, the twisting serpent. And he will kill the great fish that is in the sea. I'm just reading verse 1 because I just want y'all to know I'm going from 1, just giving y'all context. Verse 2, on that day, people will sing about Israel, a vineyard of fine wine. We brought that out before about Israel being a vineyard. Okay, we brought that out before. I am Yah who guards it. I water it frequently, lest it be held to account against it. Against it. So now we see that Israel is being compared to not only a vineyard, but now they are it. They're called as it. Okay? Keep going. Night and day I will guard it. I have no wrath. If only I were at war with the weeds and thorns, I would then trample it and set it altogether afire. If Israel would grasp my strong hand, watch this is verse 5, then he would make peace with me. Wait a minute. Now Israel is a he. If Israel would grasp my stronghold, then he would make peace with me. Peace would he make with me. Days are coming when Jacob will take root. Israel will bud and blossom and fill the face of the earth with fruit. In that 1 through 6, we saw 3 things, 3 types of personifications. But the main one I wanted to point at is the he. Israel is a he at this point. I was going to go somewhere else, but let me just go Isaiah 50 right now, 4 through 8. But I wanted to show they was referenced as a her too. But the he is what I wanted to point out. So let's go one more place, and we're going to go back. So Isaiah 50, and we're going to start at verse 4. Now, Yosef brought out the inflicting, the affliction that was happening to Israel, the prophets, X, Y, and Z. I want to read this, and this is going to, confirm what he was speaking of. Adonai, Yahweh Elohim, for my Lord, Yah God, has granted me a tongue for teaching, to understand the need of the times and conveying matters to those who thirst for knowledge. He arouses me morning after morning. He arouses my ear for me to understand as disciples are taught. Adonai, or my Lord, Yah Elohim has opened my ear for me, and I did not resist. I did not retreat to the rear. I submitted my body to those who smite and my cheeks to those who pluck. I did not hide my face from humiliation and spit. For my Lord, Yah, Elohim, helps me. Therefore I was not humiliated. Therefore I made my face as hard as flint and knew that I would not be ashamed. My champion is near. Whoever will contend with me, let us stand together. Whoever is my adversary, let him approach me. With that, I yield for now.
And that was good stuff. Still have me on. It would be Yediah's turn. You got to flow, Yediah.
All right. Yeah, that was good stuff, man. We ain't got one of them in a long time. One of them rundowns.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's been a while since one of us did a rundown. So that was kind of refreshing to hear after a while. So good stuff. The last thing I just was going to say is in 13 through 15, which ends the chapter, you know, it begins what carries over into the next chapter, which is speaking of the suffering servant. So just by going off of 13 through 15 is really unsure of the identity at this point of Scripture, but there is some signs that whomever is talking about is somebody that had to be living or have lived during the time in which the narrative took place. So let's look at it just so you know what I'm talking about. The Lord says, look, my servant will, that's future, succeed in what he has to do, and he will be raised to the position of high honor. You know what I'm saying? We know that there have been a few individual servants mentioned so far, and then Israel as a whole as a servant, as the brother ran it down. So we at least know it can be all of Israel, but we also know that it can be an individual as well. So we're going to look at it objectively and see what fits best as we continue to go through 53. But it says, it is true that many were shocked, that's past tense, when they saw him. So that means whoever this servant is in the context of Isaiah has been saw. He was beaten so badly, this is how my version reads, so badly that he no longer looked like a man. But it is also true that many nations will be amazed at him. So he was beaten, but we also see that the Most High gonna raise him up, gonna, you know what I'm saying, put him in a high position, and then once that happens, the nation's gonna be looking in amaze, like, oh man, we thought we had them down, type of deal. I'm saying them for the sake of saying Israel, but we thought we had him down. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why they came out. I don't know. Maybe it was the Spirit moving me or something. I don't know. Anyway, kings will look at him and be unable to speak. They will see what they had never been told. So it haven't been told to them that they're gonna be rose up. You know what I'm saying? Or that this person, if it be a person, be rose up. They will understand what they had never heard. So they will understand it when it happens, but right now, initially it's going to be a shock. So this redemption, this salvation that we've been talking about, I believe is in conjunction with this suffering servant and what it's talking about leading into 53. So with that in mind, just keep that in mind as we flow into 53, because this is supposed to flow into 53. Should be no break right here. So that's all I got. I render the mic.
I ain't got nothing else. So we can keep it pushing. If ain't nobody in the queue. The reason why I say I ain't got nothing else because he did a beautiful job of setting it up. I had a little setup for the 52 to 53 because you have to continue to flow. But I mean, hey, if I could save time somewhere, he saved it. Okay. Nobody has anything before I move on? I'm going to give you a couple seconds to hit the one if you do. I'm going to go from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're off. So this, in summary, is just like we was finished talking about. It continues the conversation from 52, and it rolls on about characteristics of the servant and more stuff. So Bum, bum, bum. We're here. Okay. And that's your summary. Everybody's probably read this at least once in their life. So, how am I going to do this? So I have the first 5 highlighted, but I want to probably just do 3, and then I'll let somebody else go. All right, because it's just some of these characteristic stuff that need, what I'm saying, that people, look at. It says, who has believed our report? It's a question. And to whom is the arm of Yah revealed? Question. So before I go any farther, Yah or Shema, both, who is the answer to these questions? Anybody on the line, or anybody listening?
Shema, you wanna go first, man?
Yes, sir. Wait, what we asking? I'm sorry, what we answering? What's the question?
The first verse. The question when it says, "Who shall believe our report?" and who has an arm revealed? Who do you believe? The answer to that question is.
So mine say, who will believe what we have heard, for whom has the arm of Yah been revealed? You want to know who I think the arm is? Is that what you're saying?
Or the question is, who has believed our report? So who is the who, and then to whom is the arm of Yah revealed? So to whom is the arm revealed to?
Oh, shoot! I'm gonna digress on that. Just see what y'all got to say.
All right, so I take it. All right. So it's interesting. This is how mine read. I think we got different versions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, mine don't even have a question mark, by the way. That's kind of why I wanted to see what y'all was gonna say.
So mine say, who really believed what we heard? Who saw, which is past tense, in it the Lord's great power, right? So my thing is, who is the what or who is the it? You know what I'm saying? And that to me is answered through 2 through 12 as it begins to go into the thing. So who really believed what we heard? So I'm thinking more so it's talking about the Most High salvation. Who really believed it? Who really believed when he said he was going to bring them out? Who saw in it the Lord's great power? So who actually referenced it like the Most High said he was going to do this? That's what I saw. So I could be wrong, but as we continue to go through it, like I'll tell you why I think that's what is being said. Does that answer your question? I don't know if I even touched the question like you wanted me to.
No, not really, but it's okay. We'll keep on going. And the reason why I say it's okay, because it's going to kind of answer. I feel like it answers itself, but I just wanted to see what y'all got. Like I have an assumption. I think is who believes the strength of the Most High, like who has believed our report, and who is this, and to whom is the strength of the Most High revealed. I believe that's talking about Israel. Like the strength of the Most High was revealed to Israel, but it could be to other nations too. I mean, I guess technically in that aspect, it was revealed to all. You know what I'm saying? So, and I got a reason why I thought it was Israel just from reading as I kept on reading. But that's why I wanted to know what you guys thought. It says, for he grew up before him as a tender plant and as a root out of the dry ground. Right? He has no form or comeliness. When we saw him, there was no beauty that we should desire him. All right. He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. And we hid, as it were, our faces from him. He was despised, and we esteemed him not. Okay. Now, in this, you have a lot of questions that's going to be asked, regardless. This is why it becomes difficult. All right? You say, for he grew up before him as a tender plant. Okay, well, he has no form. All right? That sounds, easily to say, either way it go, we don't know, right? But then here it is at the end, there is no beauty that we should desire him. Now, who is this we? He is despised and rejected as men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. And we hid, as it were, our faces from him. We. He was despised, and we esteemed him not. Now, okay, that's why I was going to stop there. I said I was going to stop there. So, just these characteristics and questions that come to mind would be who is the we in those statements. And before we go, not before we go on, but as we go on, that might help with some questions too down the road. But with that, I yield because there's more stuff to bring out, and it's loaded. So that goes to Shema.
Well, give me a second because I'm looking up something in the Hebrew.
That's fine.
Okay. So when I read this, formerly he grew like a sapling or like a root from an arid ground. He had neither form nor grandeur. The first question we need to look at, because what we need not to do is just pinpoint things that we want to point out within the scriptures. If we're going to analyze certain things, we need to analyze the whole thing. We need to see, is it talking in a poetic way? Is it talking in a literal way? What do I mean? They just said he grew like a sapling or like a root from an arid ground. So that can be talking about in the way that he formed, right? The next one says he had neither form nor grandeur. So what does that mean? What do you mean he had neither form? Is that a poetic speech right there? Or is that literally talking about a person didn't have any form? What does that matter? Why am I saying this? Is there even a point of me saying that? I think it is. Because I believe it to be at this point. Now, that's why I brought out the it's and the he's and things like that, because I think that this is not one person. I don't believe that to be the case. I don't believe that this is one person. But don't think because I'm saying that, don't think you know my belief system, by the way, people. I'm literally objectively looking at this in the consistency of how it's spoken in text and even in the Hebrew language. But I'm looking at it more like if you look at Israel, they've never really had a form of identity to the other nations until the Most High did what he did with them. He grew like a sapling or like a root. And now going into what you said we. Who is the we? I believe the we, if we was to go back to the chapter, what was it, 52, was it? You did, y'all, 51, when it said, let me go back to 52. when it said, I think it was, what verse was that? 52. It was what did you bring out in that chapter when you said the righteousness? You know what part I'm talking about? Yeah.
You talking about
the ones that was trying to do right.
That it lasts forever?
Not that part. The one where it was like you.
Some of you try hard to live good lives.
Live
that's
good,
Isaiah
right.
51:1.
Okay, so when it's saying that part, why is it echoing? When it says some of you trying to live right, so who are the other ones? The other ones are still a part of that group, but I'm thinking at this point when it's saying we looked at them, we are the ones that were not listening to those that were actually living right, that was passing this message, that was doing these things for the Most High. But we did to them what they did to Isaiah right here when I brought out in 52. No, in 50, 4 through 8, when he was being as the servant, being spit on or X, Y, Z, looked at crazy, talked about things like that, wasn't being paid attention to or listened to. So I believe the we are those opposite of the servant. I believe in 53 when it's talking about that he had no form, no grandeur. We saw him, but without such visage, and we that we could desire him. They didn't desire these servants. They didn't want to hear nothing or listen to these people. That's what I'm looking at. You know, the right people of Israel. And I'm gonna stop right there. But no, verse 3 says he was despised and isolated from men, and man of pains and accustomed to illness, as one from whom we would hide our faces. He was despised, and we had no regard for him. That goes into what I was just saying. I'm going to stop right there until we touch other ones. So the we, I think I explained to you who I believe the we are.
Okay. Is it my go?
Yes, it is.
All right. So this is good. This is good dialogue right here. I like what he brought out. I like the beginning of it. I like the questions. These are good questions, good things to help us objectively look at this thing. So now I'm just going to bring a piece. Another thing we got to think about, who is the narrator at this point? Because it kind of seems like somebody else started writing. That's just me.
My bad. I didn't mean to laugh.
It seemed like somebody has took over the narrative after Isaiah possibly was beat to death. I don't know. Could it be? I don't know, because it seemed a little different to me. Because it said, who really believed what we heard? Who was talking to them? Isaiah was talking to them. Isaiah might got beat to death, and somebody done took over from there. Like, who really believed what we heard? Heard from who? Isaiah. Who saw in it the Lord's great power? He was always close to the Lord. It sounds like a eulogy is going on right now. Sound like somebody speaking at Isaiah's funeral right now. He was always close to the Lord. He grew up like a young plant, like a root growing in dry ground. There was nothing special or impressive about the way he looked. Sound like somebody preaching at his funeral. Nothing we could see that would cause us to like him. As Shema just brought out, that they spit on the young man. People made fun of him. And even his friends left him. He was a man who suffered a lot of pain and sickness. So we know whoever this is suffered some sickness as well, not just whipped to death. He was sick sometimes. We treated him like someone of no importance. Hey, man, we just shunned off what he was talking about. like some people will not even look at but turn away from it in disgust. The fact is, it was our suffering he took on himself. It sounds like some past tense stuff. He bore our pain, but we thought that God was punishing him. They probably was looking like, man, this man ain't a man of God. Look what he going through. That God was beating him for something he did, but he was being punished for what we did. He was crushed, past tense, was crushed because of our guilt. He took the punishment we deserved. I see Jeff jump in. And this brought us peace. We were healed because of his pain. It's kind of like when somebody get out there, and I'm going to keep reading a little bit, but I want to say this because it's on my heart. It's kind of like any revolutionary figure that go out and speak for the people and fight against any wrongdoing that's going on. We see we have many historical figures we could look at. I brought up Martin Luther King earlier. Martin Luther King was spit on, but he said no violence. You know what I'm saying? Many of people that fought for our rights got dogs sicked on them.
Wait a minute.
But they did it.
Let me say something real quick. Let's keep in mind, before you go on, let's keep in mind that Isaiah wasn't the only prophet at this time.
True.
It was a grip of them people. It was, and they all was rejected and despised and all this extra stuff too.
It could have been any of them.
So I mean, that's a possibility.
That was my point. That's what I was saying.
Right, and I also was going to say, until we read the rest of the prophets, we can't definitively identify who was sick, who was done in certain ways, because all we know right now is Isaiah. We're reading Isaiah's narrative right now. But it did seem kind of crazy. It seemed like a eulogy reading, though. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all can feel me with that. But,
no, I feel it.
So, and then it say, we had all wandered away like sheep. We had gone our own way, and yet the Lord put all our guilt on him. So the thing is, what I see with that is that by this time, he was told to go gather Judah and bring them back to him, right? Am I wrong or am I right?
Yeah.
That's what we just read. So that was his mission. That guilt was on him. That's a task. Like, you ain't did nothing wrong. Why you finna send me out here with these psychos to try to gather them when they finna be spitting on me and making fun of me, and then I gotta worry about the oppressing nations and all this stuff while I'm going out trying to get them this message and all this? That's a burden to put on somebody. I'm coming from a reality standpoint. That right there, that is putting the nation on your back. And then the oppressing people catch you out there doing this stuff, they probably finna beat you to death. Which may be what happened to Isaiah. We don't know what happened to Isaiah right now. I don't know. I haven't read of his death yet. But this here sounds like a eulogy. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm going to end it at that because I can keep going and Jeff in the queue. But just for this chapter alone, for me, my main point was to point out that, and the whole eulogy thing didn't hit me till I read it, like right now live on air. That just hit
I got
me.
other stuff to add to it, but I'm going to let Jeff now.
But he said, the Lord says, and this last thing I'm going to read, the Lord says, my servant, this is in 11, I believe. The Lord says, my servant who always does what is right will make his people right with me. And he will take away their sins. When it talks about taking away their sins, it's talking about restoring them back to the Most High, taking away their transgression, taking away the ought that the Most High have. It's like when somebody basically, like he said, gather my people, bring them back to me. That is like basically taking away the offense, rather. Like he bringing them back. They ain't wondering no more. The Most High, the offense was y'all forgot about me. So if he makes them remember who the Most High is, and they put back on that strength of Yah, that is, they sins are gone at that point. They clean themselves, as Shema brought out. Clean yourselves. How you clean yourself is coming back to the Most High. That's it. And y'all really ain't got to hear from me no more unless y'all want to.
I mean, you might have some stuff to say after I bring out some points. But I want to let Jeff in before I go in. Because it's so much other stuff in there. It's some technical stuff I want to bring out. But, like, a little bit of Hebrew stuff that's mistranslated. But, Jeff, I want to bring you in, and you're alive.
Well, shalom, everyone, and I won't need 2 minutes. So I just wanted to say all praises to the Most High for the point that was just brought out. This is definitely a good dialogue because never in a million years I don't think anybody was ever thought that the person that has been perceived as the Messiah would have been a prophet himself. So as you were talking about that, I definitely can remember us on a lot of shows saying that a lot of the modern-day prophets today probably wouldn't have been able to endure what a lot of the prophets of old went through. So as you were beginning to talk about Isaiah, I mean, to me, I know it's right, it's early. You know, you just got this revelation, if you will, but it definitely opens up my mind to where I can hit that reset button, which has already been hit, but it actually gives a little more meat about, man, this could just be old Isaiah, because the brother went through a lot. And I know it's not all mentioned in the book that we have here, but historically there are a lot of writings about what the prophets actually went through. So I just want to say that I'm glad I stayed on the call because that's definitely a good eye-opener right there, because this definitely could be a prophet, and more pertinently Isaiah. So thank you, and that's all I had.
All right, I muted you so you can, come back in if you would like to. And it is my turn. So, wait a minute. I got to go to my Bible. Oh, wait, they covered a bunch of stuff, right? But I want to go back over some stuff. And in KJV, right? I read out of this for a reason. You know what I'm saying? All right, it says... Surely he has borne our griefs and carried our sorrows, yet we did not esteem him stricken. We did esteem him stricken, smitten of Elohim, and afflicted. Okay, so now this person's afflicted also, but we like to say the prophets. The prophets was afflicted. I mean, Daniel was in the time of Babylon. Know that. Okay, he had to go through the same thing they did. Thrown in the lion's den, a doggone furnace. It had to interpret, had to interpret. He had to do the most, okay? And but he was right along there with everybody else, right? But going on, then in 5, grammatical error, something as far as prefixes. But he was wounded for our transgressions, and he was bruised for our iniquities. I believe Yediah rendered it right. I didn't catch it, but. And I'm pretty sure Shema's probably rendered it right. With KJV, this is what a lot of people read. That is not for our transgression. It's a mem prefix in the beginning of it. So it's from. Right? It's wounded from our transgressions and from our. So it makes a big difference. All right? So one is a punishment from things that you did, And one turns this into an offering for sin, like that. You know what I'm saying? That's technically what you would say. The transgression would be a sin, and you was wounded, and you was done this, and this is for sins, for the sins of people, okay, and for the future sins of people. Okay, from is more so like some things we done did to make this man be caused. Like, I don't know if I'm explaining this right, but
nah, it's more like cause and effect versus like you said, for. You know what I'm saying? Like, because what we did, this man had to go out and fight for us and end up getting wounded or whatever in the midst of it. You know what I'm saying? Rather than like, oh, he just gave his life for our sins. Like, you know what I'm saying? I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it was because of the sins he died. You know what I'm saying? Or he was wounded or such and such. Like, he didn't come for your sins.
If I could give an example like this, it's like because of what we did, he died. You know what I'm saying? It's like for instance, if I did something and Shemai, let's say I robbed somebody. I robbed somebody, and Shemai is riding with me, and we get shot up. Shemai died because I robbed somebody, and you know what I'm saying. It's just an example, Shemai. I ain't gonna rob nobody, and we ain't gonna get shot. So I just want to make sure I killed that out the atmosphere. But it's an example, and basically, Shemai died because of what I did.
Now, can I use the for? Now this would be a difference. Now, this is the other difference. They go, Jedediah rob him, and Shemai say he did it and get shot for it. Somebody stepping in and doing something for something is different from you have a result from something. All right, that's the best way you do. I could probably see it. Okay, but like I say, that just a little wordplay, you know. And you use that later on, and you might be misled, honestly. But to even, oh my goodness, just to even use it with the wrong prefix in it and quote it later on with the wrong prefix kind of shows the amateur skills of the Hebrew. So this is very amateur at best. All right. Okay, 7. If everybody just write down 7 because I have a parallel to this that I cannot use right now because it's in another book of the prophets that tells you it uses the same exact words. So I have a little different feeling about this only because I know something that quotes this. So, but just write down 53 and 7. He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. Okay, remember that? And he was brought as a lamb to slaughter, the sheep before the shears are dumb. So he opened out his mouth. That was my highlight on that. And if you allow me to say one more thing, and as far as it's in conjecture 7, 8, 9. All right, he was taken out of prison from judgment, and who shall declare his generation? For he is cut off. He was cut off from the land of the living, for the transgression. That's probably from transgression of my people. He was stricken. This does sound like a eulogy. As I'm reading it, like, man, this sounds like. And this is what I'm saying. The poetic language this is also be, the poetic language of whoever's writing too. If it's, like to say Jedediah's form, or even if it's Isaiah, or whatever, it's like, if I felt like I was, part of the good guys, You know what I'm saying? Like I put myself, like I'm going through this crap because of you. Y'all, you know what y'all gonna say? You ain't went through all this and it ain't, you know, there's another possibility. Because I could be sitting back, let's keep it real. I could be hot. You know how when you hot, you know what they're gonna say? They're gonna look back on me and they're gonna be talking about something. We always knew you was gonna come up. Yeah, get off of me. Went through all this for nothing. I've talked to myself like, you know, not in those same terms. I just use something off the fly. But and this is another thing, grammatical thing that I believe. I mean, somebody can correct me if I was wrong, but it's, and he made his grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death. I don't know if that's a singular death or not. The way death is moved, and this is mutah, I think it's a rule because of the double wav or something, which makes the ending different from the yod and the mem. I'm sorry, I'm kind of talking to Yeti and them now. And, you know what I'm saying, which making it plural. But death is spelled totally different. This has, I think, it's a plural ending on the end. And it's, I don't even know if it's in his death, so I have to look at it again. I think it's like in death or something like that. Sorry. Well, anyway, that's how I was looking at it. But anyway, like I said, I could be wrong with that, but it looks like it should be plural. The only thing that concerns me is the singular here to the plural. I don't know if that makes any sense. But if you look at the original word, well, my interlinear, it's got some endings on there that's not from your original word, death. You understand what I'm saying? Shema, Yadiya, both of y'all.
I would have to be looking at exactly. I'm not following exactly along where you at, so. But I don't want to really waste no time. You got Mercy in the queue. This is something we can hash out and probably reveal
I'm gonna keep going
on the page.
Because he had done no violence, and neither was deceit found in his mouth. So, mark that 9 down, because I got that somewhere too. And then that's all I got. And I will open up to what to call it. Brother Mercy. All right, Mercy, you live.
Yeah, brothers. I remember we had a discussion maybe a week or 2 weeks ago about how the prophets, they were hard to be murdered or to be killed. And I just wanted to say, up until this point, Elijah, Elisha, Moses, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Enoch, all the prophets, none of them, probably most of them, other than Abel, that I can think of, and none of them were beat beyond recognition, like Isaiah describing, because it wasn't normal for you just to beat down a prophet. I mean that just wasn't going on in the Old Testament. I mean, Yahweh always protected his prophets. He even said, "Touch not my anointed, do them no harm," and there was consequences if you tried to persecute the prophet. I mean, in Moses' day, the ground opened up. I mean, let's face it. I mean, Yahweh acted. So I just wanted to say, you know, the prophet, yeah, I'm not saying it can't be a prophet, but normally the prophets were really protected. I'm not saying they weren't persecuted, but what I'm saying is it was hard to kill the prophets. And I know you said we're going to talk about this maybe on the rest show, but maybe we can discuss it on the rest show about how difficult it was to kill the prophets and when they really start persecuting the prophets like Isaiah describing. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, that's another topic we got actually too. So indeed, that's something we can maybe merge the two and talk about.
Yeah. I mean, all I can say is at this point, my personal thoughts, as we didn't got this far, I believe this is the remnant of Israel talking about. And in a figurative speech, like, this is what happened to the remnant. They got beat up from what we did because they was always good. And I thought it was correlated to what how Yah was just talking about in the other verse, the other chapters, talking about the righteous ones that seek to do right. It's still some people that wanted to do right amongst them. Well, it was always the people that wanted to do right amongst them, but everybody got taken captive. And you know what I'm saying? You ain't got to talk about the prophets too much. I mean, it was some people. I'm pretty sure some good people out there that just went through some bad things. But that's all I'm saying about that is as we are where we are. But Shemai, this is your floor. You might be on mute, Shemai. Shemai, if you're talking, I still can't hear you.
Let me say, since Shemai, I don't know what's going on with Shemai. It was some things in there too that I seen that could have related also to Hezekiah that I was seeing, because I know he was sick. And then when you go to let me see, when you go to when you go to 10, it says he shall see his seed, he shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of the Lord shall prosper in his hand. So that kind of made me think. And also, I know he was one of the people that I know that was sick. You know what I'm saying? That got sick, and it was like not because he did something, he just got sick. Because we was talking about, I know when we went through it, it was like, well, he got sick. It ain't like it was a curse or something. Like people just get sick. I know one of the prophets got sick. I think it was Elijah got sick or whatever. So it can relate to any of them, really. We just, you know what I'm saying, don't know at this point. I can't really say. To be honest, I can't say whether it is, but what I do know is there is some past tense in there. So I know it's somebody that was during those generations, I would think. You know what I'm saying? But that's just my thoughts on it.
Yeah, well.
Because it always go back to chapter 1, verse 1 for me. During the times of the kings that it named. Like, I could never get away from that.
I mean, all in all, we short on time. All in all, there's some things in there that, let's just put it out on the table, that I can see why, people could relate to another figure. But it's some things out there that, you would have to jump from some spiritual to natural type of deals to make it make sense. Like when it said, he shall see his seed, he shall prolong his days. That's offspring. All right? Regardless of the fact of however you want to put it. So now, is that a spiritual offspring? I thought we were supposed to be brothers. So, looking at it on surface, you know what I mean, you might not know exactly who it is that they're talking about. But you can do the process of elimination also. So, obviously, it's not the disobedient Israel for sure. Okay, this is from their actions. All right. And obviously it's not anybody that is not getting punished from Babylonian captivity or some sort of harshness, because sounds bad. But the reason why I feel like it would be the remnant of Israel, because it's like marred and beat beyond recognition and these type of deals. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they was beat on, and that's what I've been hearing. The characteristics of this person is what I've been hearing from Israel previous chapters. I've been hearing Israel getting afflicted and beat up and despised and talked about and doing dirty. Now, when I get here, I don't think that it's just one person. That's just me personally, because I just read you. I can read through multiple. I ain't got time. I can read through multiple times. You know what I'm saying? Was it afflicted, beat down? The Assyrians crushed you, and this person has crushed you. Don't worry, your salvation's near. So
yeah, I could feel that. So it can be, like I said, it could be them. You know what I'm saying? But it's just personified as one person. You know, my servant who has always done right could be just the remnant that has done right. But then, you know what I'm saying, it also could be particularly talking about one person that did right. You know what I'm saying? So I'm up for both, but I just know that whomever is talking about, whether it's a singular person or multiple, it's something that was going on during that time. It's relevant to their time, is all I'm going to say. You know what I'm saying? Everything else is I can't really argue. You know what I'm saying? It definitely could be, but I just don't see this being something that does not relate to their time.
Well, we haven't seen anything that doesn't relate to their time. That's what I'm saying. So it really doesn't, like all this salvation, you know, we haven't jumped super futuristic yet. We're not even out of Babylonian captivity yet. And we can't talk about the next captivity.
Right.
Or the next one. You know,
you can't skip a captivity that you in. You gotta be delivered from that first.
Man, how we gonna get out of this one? Why you talking about the third one from now?
That people ain't even. My thing is, why is you talking to people about something that ain't got nothing to do with them? It's like me saying like me going to jail. This is the last thing I want to say. I know we got to close out. It's like me going to a prison, visiting somebody, and saying, "Get ready to get out." Don't get out. But I'm not talking to him. I'm talking to his great grandson. What? How much sense that make? That's all I want to say. Without me saying, I'm talking about I want you to write a letter and tell your great grandson that he will go to jail, and I'm gonna get him out. That's the only way that makes sense.
But that ain't what was said. What was said was,
you
get ready to get out. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So, I mean, objectively looking at anything, you could just say, all right, I could not. This ain't got to be the only time anything's talked about. But as far as this, I can't equate this to nothing futuristic. For me. So, let me tell you. Now, you know what I mean by futuristic, super futuristic. All right, we don't have anybody in the queue. And closing remarks, yeah.
All right, man. This was one of those. This was one of those shows, man, for the record books. I really enjoyed this show today. As y'all all know, I'm trying to catch us up with the shows. Hopefully I can post this show this week, but if you've been following along on YouTube, the shows have been being updated. I haven't caught up to where we are now, but if there's some shows that you've been wanting to listen back to, go to YouTube, his Talk Ones, Talk Radio. Look them up. I think I'm all the way up to episode 15. We had episode 20 today, so I only got 5 more episodes to catch us up. So I'm trying to do that by the next time we have a show. We should be caught up, most high willing. So just be patient. I'm getting there, but I haven't got there yet. But most high say the same. Next week we should be right on track before we close out the season. The season will be closing soon. I think it's only 66 chapters in total. So we coming to a close here soon. So that's all I got to say. I appreciate everybody that tuned in. Have a blessed day.
All right. It's been a good show, to say the least. I would like to say, man, these are the shows that we live for, but I honestly don't think it was enough time to get all the information out. Just kind of looking at the clock, kind of skimming through it. It's a lot more to dig into this, you know what I'm saying? But I think we just got to hold on and just keep on pushing forward to find out what we got at the end. At the end of this thing. We both are one to say, hey, we don't know for sure, but I think. So that's what I got at the end of this. I can't give you a specifics at this point to say this is what this is for sure. You know what I mean? 100%. So with that being said, we're going to go into our prayer. I'm going to let you go. All minds clear. Father, we thank you for allowing us to gather and discuss and fellowship with your word. We ask that you continue to increase understanding and knowledge. You keep us safe throughout the week. Keep our family safe throughout the week. We